Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon. My name is Joanna Daniel. If this is your first time watching one of my live broadcasts, I work with adult survivors of childhood trauma and abuse. I provide conferences, online courses, and retreats that provide a safe place for people to heal. I'm here every day, 1:30 British Standard Time, since the end of October, helping you to get through the pandemic, this crisis that we're living in, and now through the holiday season in a safe way. So I'm here every day, as I said, and welcome. I'm so glad somebody's here. I can see that somebody's here with me. Welcome. And I thank you so much for all the messages that I get, the people who ring me, who has my contact details, people who make contact to let me know how much they value these and how much they look forward to it. They share it with their friends, they're discussing it, and I really appreciate that. So keep those coming. So this month we start the holiday season has started, and I know that holiday, even though we are social distancing and we might not be able to meet up for Christmas and stuff like that, that all not everybody look forward to the holidays, and there are different people in our community. And throughout December, I'm going to be doing things that is hopefully going to help you to get through this next phase and stage in as safe a way as possible. So today I'm talking about self-compassion, how to activate self-compassion. Hey Roxanne, so glad you're here. How to activate self-compassion. What are the things that we need to look out for when we're talking about self-compassion? And it's just it's always amazes me how it's easy for us to abandon self. It's easy for us to not think about ourselves. It's easy for us to, especially those of us who are parents, to put the children first, or to put this first or that first, and not think about what are the things that I can do to look after me. And I know as a mom, as a wife, as a woman, as a sister, as a friend, that when I'm not okay, chances are a lot of things around me won't be okay either. And so it's really important for me to know how to look after myself. And so when I'm speaking this topic, I'm kind of talking to all of us, because it's not because I've arrived and I suddenly know how to do it and I'm coming to you from this enlightened place where I have arrived at this enlightened place, and because I'm at this enlightened place, then I'm going to give you words of wisdom. This time is we're all in this together. We're all learning about how to grow through and how to be compassionate to self and how to think about self. I don't know about you, but I'm from a culture, society where there is a persona of strength, where there is a let's get through it, let's buckle up and get through it. And sometimes I hear people say things like you're a, and they'll call the last name. My last name is Daniel. You're a Daniel, so you can do it. We don't give up. We don't do that. I try not to do that, because what does that mean? What we're teaching is it's not okay to not be okay, and it's absolutely okay to not be okay. So, your head is in the camera.
So I need to get some.
What do you want?
Yes,
Wait until I'm finished. I'm interrupted by teenager. So, how to be compassionate to self. So, the first thing I want to talk about is to know your triggers. What are those things that triggers you, that causes you to respond a certain way? What are the triggers for you? It's really important to know that. What sends you? Yesterday I talked about, are you eating your feelings? What are those things that sends you for carbs and sugar? What are those? What plummets you in a place of sadness, to the point where you are self-isolating, and you're not even self-isolating because of COVID. You're self-isolating because you can't do people right now. What are those things that triggers you, that put you in that place? Really important to know what the triggers are. When you know what your triggers are, self-awareness, I always say, is half the battle. Self-awareness gives you an understanding of okay, it gives you a better understanding of self, gives you an understanding of you, and the things that make you work, the things that triggers you, the things that makes you function, the things that make you operate at your optimal. Okay, exercise helps me operate optimally. If I don't get exercise for several days in a row, I become sluggish. My mind isn't clear. I'm not feeling wonderful, and I have to go do a run or a walk, and that revitalizes me. If I go near the sea at all, it just, all of my stress and my whatever will just go away in with the waves. That calms and soothes me. So I know the things that I need to do to calm and to soothe me. And if I'm in a kind of a funky place, then I know I can take the drive to the beach and sit and watch the waves, and I come back feeling fine. So know what triggers you though. So those are coping mechanisms that I just talked about, healthy ways of coping. But what sends me into that place? And that's what I want you to know. What triggers me? What sends me into that place? Is it somebody disrespecting my boundaries, somebody not seeing my boundaries, not recognizing my boundaries, somebody speaking down to me, negative people, negative messages, conflict, the sign of conflict, responding in a certain, people responding to you in a certain way. They're very, I mean, it can be wide and varied, but it's really important as you begin to think about you, put you on your to-do list. It's really important that you know what are those things that triggers me, what are those things that sends me in my place that I need to go for my coping mechanism. Okay. And number two is, what is my automatic response? What is my automatic response? So one is, what's my trigger? What's the thing that presses that button that begins to help me, and I respond in a certain way? And number two is, what's my automatic response? We all have an automatic response. Sometimes our automatic response is fear-based. Sometimes our automatic response, it tends to be, because we're an emotional brain, it's rash, it's sometimes anger and frustration. Sometimes we're going guilt and shame, fear, perfectionism, controlling the environment, controlling things around us. What's your automatic response? Is it anger? Is it self-pity? Is it self-hate? Self-blame? What do you automatically do when certain things triggers you? For those of us who are survivors, and my community, is people who are healing from childhood trauma, so we all have a trigger. And it's really important, for if you're going to learn how to live compassionately, then you will need to know, what are those things that triggers me? And when you find that out, what's my automatic response? What's my go-to? What do I do next? Do I blow up? Do I respond in fear? Do I shut down, numb, can't feel, can't hear you? You're not impacting me, but it is impacting you, just another way. So what's yours? It's really important to know that, to figure that out, and to take responsibility for it. There are times you might experience where people blame you for their automatic response. So somebody else's automatic response might be anger, but something is done, and I always have to clarify this for people, that you're responsible for your automatic response the same way the next person is responsible for their automatic response. So you might do something and their automatic response is anger, and they blame you for their anger, and you're not responsible for it, because we all have to recognize our triggers and our automatic response, and we work with support to fix it, so nobody else is responsible for it. Because if you could make them angry, you could also make them peaceful, calm, and be nice people. So you're not responsible. So, but you need to know what it is, because when you know what it is, then you have more control. It really does put you in control. It really does put you in a better position when you know what that thing is. It sets you apart, because then the same thing can happen, the same event can be happening, but you're responding to the same event in completely different ways, because you understand, you're aware of, okay, so my automatic response is this. I tend to get angry, fly off the handle, do things. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. So I am going to learn how to manage. I'm going to learn how to manage my emotions. I'm going to learn what they are, to understand them. I'm going to learn what it takes to sit with them, to breathe through them, to stretch, to relax my body so that my mind can be soothed, so that I can respond in a way that is not going to be shaming for me or guilt ridden. that I am in full control. And that's the beauty. That is radical self-compassion right there. That is radical self-compassion, because you're understanding and you're responding to what you're understanding about yourself. So you're not judging yourself, you're not being critical about to yourself, and there's no judgment here. So you're understanding this and you're making a decision. You're finding ways to cope with it in a better way. And the last one is, when you, whatever your automatic response is, say your automatic response is anger and it's undesirable, be able to activate. This is where the self-compassion is keener as well. And this is where lots of women fail. This is where lots of women fail. We fail to activate able to do the repair work with self. So say the automatic response was anger, and you boo, and your anger is like a lava, it flows out, you know. Repair work is necessary, not only for the people around you that may have been impacted by that, but for yourself. Because sometimes it affects the way our view of self, how we see self, how we are with self, and how we're going to be with ourselves. Sometimes this is where food is a soothing thing, where we eat to cover those difficult, not comfortable feelings. But this is where you can really do some repair work with yourself, when you can sit with yourself and breathe and understand what happened. Why do I use this automatic response, and what's the root of that? So you can ask yourself those questions, because if you don't allow yourself to ask yourself those questions, you're going to sit in guilt and shame, which is going to make you, trap you in a cycle of this thing happening over and over again. But if you're able to sit with it, then you can tell yourself the truth about it, and not a story that is going to be rooted in shame, that is going to make the situation worse, and likelihood it's going to keep happening. So being able to, the story that the narrative, the story, the languaging that you use to yourself when you're doing the repair work is really crucially important, because you want to do ones that are gentle and kind and loving. Of course, it's honest, but it needs to be all of those things. The same thing you would offer to somebody else, being able to offer it to yourself. Now, I know that not many people know how to do that. I know that that's not the easiest thing to do, because the inner critic sometimes is louder than anybody else. And we can sometimes be harder on ourselves than anybody could possibly be with us. And so that's why in the webinar on the 6th of December, I am going to teach ways of breaking that story down, telling yourself the truth so you can live more compassionately. So breaking the story down, telling yourself the truth so you can live more compassionately. So we'll understand the trigger. You'll be able to identify that for yourself, identify your automatic response, and be able to offer the repair, to do the repair work that is necessary to help you to break that cycle, to break that pattern, because lack of understanding will trap you into that cycle, because you won't know how to break it. Okay? So I'm hoping that I'll see you on the webinar. We still have space. People are signing up. Really looking forward to being with you. But we still have space. There's still time to sign up. It's on the 6th of December. That's Sunday, 8 to 9:30 p.m. British Standard Time. So I'm looking forward to seeing you. Take care. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. And I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. again. Take care. Bye.